In today's economic climate, many families are grappling with financial distress. While essential bills like lights, water, gas, insurance, and rent are covered, luxuries like Netflix are often sacrificed. As darkness overshadows the American dream, financial instability is becoming more widespread. In 2024, a record number of Americans consider themselves broke, reflecting widespread economic struggles. From relentless inflation to crippling debt, signs of instability are everywhere. Optimism has vanished, replaced by a pervasive sense of despair, forcing many households to make heartbreaking sacrifices just to stay afloat. As the cost of living continues to rise faster than paychecks, new data reveals that a staggering number of American workers are coping with profound hardship. We've compiled the most important statistics about this growing crisis that is weakening Americans' personal finances. Before we dive in, please support our work with a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to stay current with the latest news. Almost half of Americans say they're broke in 2024. New research by MarketWatch found that 48.6% of Americans consider themselves broke this year, up from 37.6% in 2023. Today, 55.8% of women and 41.1% of men in the U.S. report experiencing financial insecurity. The increase in pessimism is directly linked to persistent inflation. 92% of U.S. adults are cutting their spending. A CNBC and Morning Consult poll reveals that 92% of respondents are actively reducing their spending due to inflation concerns. Over the past 6 months, nearly 80% of consumers have adjusted their spending patterns, cutting back on non-essential goods and even essentials like groceries and gas. 4 years after the pandemic, 80% of Americans are still experiencing financial hardship. The COVID-19 pandemic triggered massive layoffs, leaving nearly 10 million Americans unemployed. Despite improved employment levels, most workers have not recovered financially. The liquid assets of the lower 80% of American households are now below their March 2020 levels. The average U.S. worker needs to earn almost 4 times more to feel financially secure. Data from a Bankrate study shows that Americans need $186,000 a year to feel financially secure, which is 3.6 times the average income of $51,500. Only about 19% of individuals in the U.S. earn this amount. 29% of households have jobs, but still struggle to cover basic needs. Data from the U.S. Census Bureau indicates that roughly 40 million families, or 29% of the population, are ALICE, asset-limited, income-constrained, employed. These households earn above the poverty line, but less than what is needed to get by. More than 1/4 of U.S. households are skipping meals due to skyrocketing food costs. A survey by Intuit Credit Karma found that more than 1 in 4 adults are skipping meals or sacrificing other spending due to rising costs. 28% are putting off paying for necessities to afford groceries, and 27% are occasionally skipping meals. Americans are buying less food. According to the CEO of a major food manufacturing company, Americans are purchasing less food at stores and eating more leftovers due to rising grocery prices. Many families are going into debt just to buy groceries. An analysis by the Urban Institute reveals that Americans are using savings and credit cards to keep up with rising food prices. 70% of all grocery transactions are through credit or debit cards. With each passing month, more people are falling behind on their monthly bills. A LendingTree survey found that 40% of U.S. workers were behind on their bills as of May, a 4% increase from April. Among families with children, this figure jumps to 53%. A record number of renters can't afford their rent. Almost 23 million renter households are spending a third of their income or more on rent. The number of affordable rental units has dropped by 2.1 million in 2024, contributing to a dramatic rise in eviction filings and homelessness. Consumers are increasingly relying on buy now, pay later services for everyday necessities. Financially fragile consumers are nearly 3 times as likely to use these services to pay for food, rent, or gas. Owning a new car in 2024 is a distant dream for anyone making less than $100,000. Prices for both new and used vehicles have shot up since 2020. Americans now need a combined household income of at least $100,000 to afford the average new car. The number of Americans living in their vehicles is exploding, evictions are rising, and the number of people living in their vehicles is growing all over the country. For example, Washington, D.C. saw a 46% increase in car dwellers. More than a third of sick Americans haven't sought medical care due to the inability to pay. Over the past 12 months, 36% of insured Americans skipped a healthcare visit due to financial reasons. Most people won't be taking summer vacations this year. A substantial number of Americans have given up on going on vacation this summer due to the high cost of living. About 44% of respondents to a recent survey said they won't be traveling anywhere this season. Life has gotten much more expensive in recent years, and many people are struggling to afford even the basics, let alone vacations. The dreams and aspirations of countless American families are slipping further out of reach every day. More households are having to make gut-wrenching choices between buying essentials and sinking deeper into debt. The stress and anxiety of these economic pressures are weighing heavily on our population, spreading a feeling of hopelessness. What are your thoughts? We look forward to reading your comments. Thank you for watching.